After several thousand students attended the video courses on Ancient Wisdom for Today's Well-being, many are more and more amazed how a set of holistic and integrated theory of the ancient wisdom can be used to explain practically any disease, which today's Western medicine concludes most diseases as causes not known. There is no cure except medication for life. Ancient wisdom not only explains how the disease come about, but also suggests prevention and conditioning. The fundamental holistic and integrated theory of the ancient wisdom is covered under the following 6 topics in this series of video courses. Number 1, Yin-Yang theory. Number 2, Qi. Number 3, organ functionality. Number 4, the theory of foods. Number 5, meridian. And number 6, 5-element theory. And these theories are interrelated and interconnected with each other to form a holistic, integrated, coherent theory. This set of theories are applied in explaining cancer, Parkinson, dementia, stroke, autism, emotional issues like depression, suicide, personality issues, etc. in this series of video courses on Ancient Wisdom for Today's Well-being. After many students attended these video courses, some of them requested me to design more specific application courses, and one of which is autoimmune diseases. Hence, you are now reading this video course on autoimmune diseases. I will present first the Western medicine perspective on autoimmune diseases with information to trace as much the historical development in recognizing the diseases and the various approaches carried out by the Western medical scientists till today. More focus is made on the underlying approach in terms of philosophy and the thought pattern by the Western medical scientists and less on the actual treatments. After understanding the ancient wisdom approach to health and diseases, you will easily know what you need to do every day for your well-being on a personal basis. We are interested to know what theory Western medicine uses to explain the symptom and what theory is based on to carry out the diagnosis. What theory they use to explain how the symptoms or diseases come about, and what theory is used to carry out the treatment. We will investigate whether these theories used by the Western medicine are coherent and consistent with each other, or are these theories separately formulated, which may help to explain certain aspects but not the whole picture. For example, one set of theory to explain the symptom, another set of theory to explain the causes to the diseases, and another set of theory to carry out the treatment. On the many theories employed, do they converge to the central theoretical framework whereby all these theories can be integrated? We are also interested to know whether theory proposed by the Western medical scientists can be used to do prevention. For example, a set of theory offered to explain about breast cancer, then can we use this set of theory on the implied practices to prevent breast cancer on a daily basis? Or a set of theory offered to explain about autism, then young and aspiring parents can follow the practices as implied by the theory to ensure producing healthy baby and not autistic child? Surely you can agree with me if offered a set of complicated theories with all the highly complex explanation about the chemistry, biology, mental, nervous, and genetic system about diseases, but a common layman cannot use such explanation to carry out daily practices to ensure good health or prevent the said diseases, then such theories are of little value to common people. If this complex theory can only be understood by the Western medical scientists, then it seems People have to wait till they get very sick with the diseases to seek explanation from the Western medical scientists. This does not seem a practical approach to life. These are important questions that need to be addressed. Don't you think it is most logical and scientific? Later, you will find that ancient wisdom does apply such logical and scientific approaches and use a lot of layman language and metaphor to explain health systems and diseases. Let me ask you the question. Is it possible to have one set of theory or explanation why your business fails and another set of theory to propose a business solution without any linkage to why the business failure took place? Will you accept the business consultant telling you that your business failure is due to unknown causes and still offer you a business solution for you to implement? Surely you will agree that it is not logical in the case of business management. But strangely, in medical field, we accept such proposition from the Western medical scientists that the causes to the diseases are unknown, but you continue medication for life. And furthermore, we are talking about human life in misery or even early death, not just business. With some relevant information on Western medical scientists' approach to autoimmune diseases, we will move on to explain autoimmune diseases from the ancient wisdom perspective, that is, from the holistic and integrated theory of Yellow Emperors in a classic. Later you will find that ancient wisdom offered the same theory for diagnosis of diseases, the same theory to explain the causes to diseases, and the same theory for treatment or conditioning, and the same theory can be used to carry out prevention of such diseases, and the same theory to carry out daily practices by laymen to ensure well-being. That is what is meant by holistic and integrated theory to health and well-being. Do you find it exciting to explore further in this video course? Introduction. We will begin our video course by looking at the current state of autoimmune diseases as per Western medicine perspective. A quick search in the internet shows the following. There are 100 different types of autoimmune diseases affecting the cell and tissue of skin, brain, bone, joint, muscle, thyroid, lungs, blood vessel, nerve, practically every part of the whole body system. Isn't that very scary? How serious are the autoimmune diseases? It can be mild symptom to constant misery due to pain or inability of certain body biological function to operate properly. For example, hard skin which is very unsightly, especially for ladies, or constant irritation in the stomach, or difficulty to pass motion. In some cases, autoimmune diseases can be life-threatening, although they are mostly chronic in nature. There are numerous cases of joint autoimmune diseases after a decade or two of medication end up in surgery with joints and bone replaced by metal. Isn't this tragic? With 100 different types of autoimmune diseases, Western medicine also produces 100 different types of medical specialists. Do you recognize this Western medicine pattern? Division of problems and handling of each problem by different specialists. Most people are used to this approach, and most people see this as the only way to face diseases. We will discuss later how such approach can produce more problems. 3,000 years ago, ancient wisdom in the book Yellow Emperors in a classic already recognizes there will be myriad of diseases keep developing non-stop. It will be the fertile effort to keep chasing after diseases. From the internet search, it shows today Western medical scientists document about 10,000 label diseases, and more new diseases are manifesting every day. And there are only about 500 treatments which may not be complete cure. In the case of ancient wisdom, they only focus on the fundamental two key variables that create diseases. And these two key variables are called yin-yang imbalances, as a philosophical approach to be supported by operating theories. We will discuss more the yin-yang concept later. Some statistics on autoimmune diseases. This simple chart shows all autoimmune diseases incident, with high number in developed nation more than underdeveloped nation. This may indicate lifestyle differences that contribute to the autoimmune diseases. We will have more discussion on that later. More statistics is available in the US regarding autoimmune diseases. These statistics show 23 million affected by autoimmune diseases in the US. That is about 7% of the US population. The statistics also show 18 million female and 5 million males. Since most countries will become more industrialized and follow US lifestyle, and from the previous statistic, the rate of increase of autoimmune diseases will also be on the rise in other countries. Today, Western medical scientists cannot exactly explain why more autoimmune diseases among female than male. Ancient wisdom does have a theoretical proposal on the reason why, which we will discuss later. Specialists and more specialists. Let's share some examples on Western medical specialists on autoimmune diseases. In the Western medicine, different types of autoimmune diseases are treated by different medical specialists. For example, rheumatologist is a medical specialist in diagnosis and treatment of arthritis and other diseases of the joint, muscle, and bone. A dermatologist is a doctor who specializes in conditions involving skin, hair, and nails. These conditions include eczema, psoriasis, and skin cancer, among many others. This is how Western medicine produces a great number of specialists to attend to the patient. There is no medical specialist called autoimmunologist. That is, there is no specialist who is specialized in all types of autoimmune diseases. Hence, there is no central body to coordinate all these many different medical specialists on different types of autoimmune diseases. It is a case like each member of a society free to develop his or her own theory and practices, and there is no central government to make coordination. This has a serious implication. Different medical specialists in different types of autoimmune diseases having their own theory about their specialized autoimmune diseases. What does it represent? This reflects Western medical philosophy treating body like a machine with different parts to be managed by different specialists. Each specialist mind their own business, nothing to do with each other. There is no central body or government to make linkages to all. This also presents a fundamental different approach as compared with the ancient wisdom, whereby the central body or government is of critical importance. We will discuss more later. Hence, in the case of Western medicine treatment, a patient with both autoimmune diseases in skin problems and joint problems must visit two different medical specialists with two different sets of medication to be consumed. Which specialist has the final say about conflict of two different sets of medication that cause more pain and misery to the patient? The skin and joint specialists do not share the common overall theory on the causes and treatment. This is because they are both different specialists, each has its own authority and right. Each just carry out their own job on you, the patient. It is no surprise the patient is also being advised on two different ideas on daily practices with respect to food intake, etc. Another patient with several types of autoimmune diseases, example, skin, joint, large intestine, stomach, etc., will have to suffer more misery. Misery arising from the diseases and misery from the many different side effects of the many different medications given by different specialists. And the misery to spend a great deal of money to visit so many different specialists. It can really be the nightmare of endless misery. You'll find that it is not the approach by the ancient wisdom we will discuss later. Understanding the pattern of symptom presentation. This is the list of common autoimmune disease symptoms. You find that these symptoms are very general. For example, fatigue, joint pain and swelling, muscle problem, skin problem, abdominal pain or digestive issue, recurring fever, swollen glands. These symptoms can be very common occurrences and may have nothing to do with autoimmune diseases. Western medical doctors also say it is not black or white. There is usually no single test to diagnose autoimmune disease. You have to have certain symptoms combined with specific blood markers and in some cases even the tissue biopsy. It is not just one factor. This can create dilemma to persons suffering from some of these symptoms. Should they run to see doctor or which specialist to get diagnosis, whether it is autoimmune diseases? Do you notice a symptom presentation format as per Western medicine? The list of symptoms show a variety of symptoms which do not seem to relate to each other in any fashion. Later, we will show how this list of symptoms based on ancient wisdom can be categorized into some subsystems that form the complete body system. This demonstrates the fact that ancient wisdom uses systemic approach instead of Western medicine piecemeal one-by-one approach. Later, we will discuss how ancient wisdom does not present such a dilemma. This requires different understanding how the body functions and the governing theory on diseases, which is called imbalances of yin and yang. And imbalances of yin and yang are reflected in our body constituent. We will elaborate on this concept later. The history of autoimmune diseases. In 1906, Paul Ehrlich, a German immunologist, coined the term horo-autotoxicus to describe the body's innate aversion to immunological self-destruction. It was indeed a horror. Why the body attacks and destroys herself? Since then, the concept of autoimmune diseases was more an academic study. In the 1950s, Henry G. Kunkel, in his clinical study, proposed a person's immune system mistake the body's own cell and tissue for foreign invaders and attack them with antibiotics. This created a big debate among scientists whether antibodies against a person's own tissue even existed. It sounds like inside the body system there is a civil war. Soon it became accepted that the antibody produced by the immune system can, in some cases, attack one's tissue and body cell. Western medical scientists cannot explain logically why antibody attacks healthy tissue. Similarly, Western medical scientists cannot explain logically why many autistic children create self-inflicted pain to themselves. Some autistic children non-stop knock their head against the wall. Full discussion of autism based on ancient wisdom is carried out in the video course Autism from Understanding to Solution Action. What is antibody as per Western medicine? Western medicine explains immune system produces antibody. The function of antibody is to fight foreign unfriendly or invading agents that can cause harm to our body or cause diseases. The foreign unfriendly or invading agents are called antigens. Hence, a healthy person should have good immune system that produces good antibody to fight antigens which are harmful foreign agents. Later, we will discuss the 3,000 years ancient wisdom also has a similar concept like immune system and antibody, but the concept advocated then carry larger and more powerful meaning and implication. With the understanding of the Western medicine concept of antibody, some Western medical scientists observe some antibody behave strangely. The antibody cannot differentiate incoming agent and on-body tissue. For example, the antibody of the skin is supposed to fight against external germ or virus attack on the skin. But now the antibody is also fighting against anything that is from the body to the skin. For example, there are blood and fluid supplied to the skin, sweat generated at the skin sweat pore, and they are cell and tissue of the skin. The antibody is confused, mistaken this necessary biological interaction with the skin as enemy, that is antigen, and begin to produce more and more antibody to fight the imaginary enemies. This implies that the body system has problems with intelligence and consciousness for the immune system to recognize or to differentiate between harmful antigen and useful interfacing substances produced by the body. What is the reason for the body intelligence and consciousness not able to function properly? Until today, Western medical scientists still have no clue to this question. But 3,000 years ago, ancient wisdom already recognized the importance of the intelligence and consciousness of body cells or organs. We will elaborate on that later. Causes to autoimmune diseases. Western medical scientists conclude the root cause of autoimmune disease is unknown. This is the same conclusion of many other diseases like Parkinson, cancer, dementia, autism, etc. The root causes are unknown. However, several risk factors are mentioned. Example, genetic, DNA, infection, chemical, virus, medication, nervous system, smoking, weight, age, etc. Sometimes diet are mentioned as risk factor, sometimes not, depending on which specialist says so. These risk factors are also being mentioned in all other diseases, meaning Western medical scientists can offer a set of general ideas. And it is difficult to carry out disciplined practices based on these general ideas to prevent autoimmune diseases. So you stop smoking or you never smoke. Will that give assurance? How about you ensure you do not put on weight? Is that sufficient? One of the risk factors is medication, but you are fed with all sorts of medication when you see doctors. It is quite confusing to ensure good health without diseases. Don't you think so? We will discuss later how ancient wisdom has different concepts on understanding causes and risk factor and treatment. Ancient wisdom on autoimmune diseases. We will now discuss how ancient wisdom approached autoimmune diseases. Please bear in mind that 3,000 years ago, ancient people did not have all those sophisticated labeling of diseases. whether the names of the 100 different types of autoimmune diseases or 10,000 other identified diseases by Western medicine. The names of diseases are invented by Western medicine. As mentioned, ancient wisdom approach to sickness or diseases is very different. Instead of chasing after ever-changing new diseases every day with new names, ancient wisdom focuses on the source of sickness or diseases, which is called yin-yang imbalances. It is a philosophical approach backed up by several operating principles. We will start with the Western medicine concept of immune system, antibody, and antigen, and I will demonstrate on conceptual level such ideas from the Western medicine were already captured and understood 3,000 years ago. As per immune system and antibody, ancient people called it true qi. True qi has larger concept and hence greater area of application than immune system and antibody. Please refer to other video courses on ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom say true qi fights evil qi to ensure healthy body and mind of a person. Then evil qi on conceptual level is like antigen, foreign agent that can harm the body and mind. But true qi fights more than external antigen, which is foreign agent that may cause diseases. True qi also fights internal evil qi. That is, due to yin-yang imbalances, the body system also produces internal evil qi that can harm the body, leading to diseases. Internal evil qi implies the body can have internal rebellions or civil war that fight against its own body. You can see that Western medicine primarily focuses on external antigen, that is, virus or germ, etc., and does not have the concept of body internal imbalances. There are 6 types of external evil qi and 5 types of internal evil qi. For details, please refer to the video course on Qi is Mystery Unfolded, 5 Essential Human Life Variables. Intelligence and consciousness. Very often, Western medical scientists say immune system makes mistake. Antibody cannot recognize harmful external antigen, that is, foreign harmful agent, from the internal healthy tissue. By such expression, the implication is that the body cell should have the intelligence and consciousness to make the distinction between harmful antigen from the non-harmful body tissue. But in the Western medicine, body cell or organ intelligence and consciousness is not the subject of study. Instead, continue to treat the body as machine parts. However, 3,000 years ago, ancient wisdom identified different intelligence and consciousness with respect to different organ functionality. For example, which organ is responsible to make intelligent decisions to direct the nutrients produced by stomach digested food to different organs and different parts of the body? Western medicine does not have such concept. Ancient wisdom also identified which organs store responsible for what emotion. Example, anger, sadness, grief, fear, etc. Please note that in the ancient time, there was no microscope to examine tiny things, hence there was no concept of cells. Hence, instead of cell, organ functionality are referred. But if you study the video course on Qi, you find that the definition of Qi is that Qi is so small that it has nothing smaller inside. Meaning, the scope of Qi includes something smaller than cells, but also include electrons and viruses. So, can you now imagine the following scenario? There is internal evil Qi attack the body internal. There is loss of intelligence and consciousness. there is excessive emotion like anger or sadness, wouldn't this create chaos or rebellion or civil war in the body internal, which can give rise to all types of diseases and not just autoimmune diseases? Symptoms and diagnosis. We have discussed Western medicine presentation of various symptoms to autoimmune diseases. The various symptoms presented do not seem to have relationship with each other, and this often leads to piecemeal or fragmented treatment to each of the symptoms by different medical specialists. Parts, subsystem, total system. We will discuss how the approach used by ancient wisdom of symptom and diagnosis. First, ancient wisdom always go back to the original holistic and integrated theory when examining the symptom. One of the structures of the theoretical construct is as follows. Ancient wisdom identified certain parts of the body to form a subsystem, and the various subsystems form an overall total system. The subsystems are called meridian system. It is like stream flow into rivers and river flows into ocean. For integration of all the subsystems, 5-element theory is applied, as a central idea of the theory is that all parts and subsystems form relationship with each other. We will use one type of autoimmune disease, that is, multiple sclerosis, for the ancient wisdom theory to be applied. This slide showed a long list of multiple sclerosis symptoms, and I grouped them into 5 different categories, which I'm going to explain one category by one category. To be able to make such grouping, we need the knowledge of number 1, organ functionality, number 2, meridians, number 3, yin-yang concept, number 4, qi-blood concept, number 5, emotion personality, number 6, interrelationship of all the mentioned 5 areas using 5 elements theory. The symptoms like bladder problems, sexual dysfunction, learning and memory problems can be grouped under kidneys and bladder functionality and meridians. Then the focus is on balancing kidneys and bladder functionality and meridian. The symptoms like vision problem, spasticity and muscle spasm, walking difficulties, tremor can be grouped under liver and gallbladder functionality and meridians. Then the focus is on balancing liver and gallbladder functionality and meridians. Do you notice some of these symptoms can happen to Parkinson's sufferer? There is a full video course on Parkinson, dementia, and stroke. The symptoms like bowel problem can be grouped under lungs and large intestine functionality and meridian. Then the focus is on balancing lungs and large intestine functionality and meridian. You may ask, why include lung functionality? Well, you have to refer to the video course on organ functionality, what the Western medicine does not know, to understand better. The symptoms like dizziness and vertigo, numbness and tingling, muscle weakness, fatigue, pain can be grouped under qi blood in general. Because we need to determine the location of this symptom, then we can relate imbalanced qi blood with respect to which organ functionality and meridian. We also need to determine whether there is excessiveness or deficiency in blood or in qi or both. Qi blood is an important and difficult concept to understand. Please refer to video courses on qi and organ functionality. The symptoms like emotional changes and depression can be grouped under organ functionality in terms of consciousness and emotion. Meaning there is a close relationship between organ functionality and emotion, psychology, and personality. For detailed discussion on this relationship, Please refer to the video course on a single window to emotion, personality, and physiology. From the symptoms, we make grouping as follows. Number 1, kidneys and bladder. Kidney is yin and bladder is yang. Number 2, liver and gallbladder. Liver is yin and gallbladder is yang. Number 3, qi blood. Qi is yang and blood is yin. Number 4, emotion, personality have yin-yang characteristic too. Each part or organ affect each other. Example, kidneys and liver. If there is imbalances in kidney, there will be imbalances in liver too. This is governed by the 5-element theory. I hope you can see more clearly how ancient wisdom observed or diagnosed symptoms in relationship to what are the possible yin-yang imbalances in the body system. Yin-yang concept is a broad concept which includes qi blood, organ functionality, and many more. You may have a few of these symptoms, but you may not have multiple sclerosis autoimmune disease. The key focus is to restore the yin and yang balance. We should not ignore small yin-yang imbalances, as over time, unbalance may lead to bigger diseases problem. This is the essence in taking care of our health. For those suffering whatever diseases, the same principles apply. How to recognize yin-yang imbalances? How to recognize yin-yang imbalances? Each person has unique body system, or ancient wisdom called body constituents. Whatever may be the different type of yin-yang imbalances, they are all reflected in the body constituent. Yin-yang imbalances may include hereditary issue, your problematic lifestyle, wrong food consumption, lack of qi exercises, exposure to external evil qi, extreme personality, etc., etc. For details on body constituent, please refer to the video course on food therapy for the unique you with your own body constituent. Why more female than male having autoimmune diseases? Why more female than male having autoimmune diseases? As per ancient wisdom, female is yin and male is yang. Using the qi blood model, female is dominant in blood and male is dominant in qi. What does it mean? And what is the implication? We know that female has regular monthly menstruation. She loses a lot of blood. Female dominant in blood and female is yin has the characteristic of female more engaged in emotion. Whereas man is yang and dominant in qi. They are more outgoing and manifesting energy outward. Female emotion can be easily triggered either joy, sadness, depression, grief, or fear, and this emotion affect the organ functionality and causes yin-yang imbalances. And emotion is one of the key contributing factors to autoimmune diseases and other diseases like breast cancer. For more details on female easily affected by emotion and personality, please refer to the video course on Health from Head to Toe, Breast and Breast Cancer. Causes, risk factor, treatments. We have mentioned Western medicine conclude causes are known and offer very general idea on risk factor to autoimmune diseases. And the treatments offered, that is, medication, is more to suppress the symptom and not tackling the root of the diseases, as the Western medicine does not know the root causes. Take a careful look. Such suggestions about causes and risk factors from the Western medical specialists are mostly the same in other diseases like cancer, Parkinson, autism, dementia, etc., with the same conclusion: the actual causes are not known. How would ancient wisdom approach questions on causes, risk factors, and treatment with respect to autoimmune diseases? As per ancient wisdom perspective, irrespective of different type of autoimmune system or any other type of diseases, the causes can arise from one or more of the following. Number 1, prenatal exon deficiency. There is similar concept with Western medicine like hereditary, genetic, DNA, etc. Number 2, intake of foods. Food have yin and yang property and not compatible with the body yin and yang. Hence, the theory of food as per ancient wisdom is totally different from the Western nutrition theory. Number 3, exposure to external evil qi, which include more than germs and viruses. Number 4, lack of daily qi exercise or wrong exercises. Qi exercises are different from the Western type of physical exercises. In some circumstances, Western type of exercises can cause harm to health. Number 5, excessive or suppressed emotion, negative attitudes to life, imbalance in personality. Number 6, inappropriate lifestyle and habits. Any or combination of these negative forces can upset the yin-yang balance, which gives rise to sickness and diseases. The body system takes all the negative forces to manage. How the body manages these negative forces is reflected in your body constituent. Hence, it is important you know your own body constituent. Western medicine does not have the concept of body constituent. As for treatment, herbs and acupuncture are used by medical practitioners to balance the yin and yang. As an individual person, you use food therapy, qi exercises, ensure balanced emotion and personality for your well-being. So far, I presented the essential concept and principle on ancient wisdom with respect to autoimmune diseases. I hope you gain some understanding. Perhaps you are more curious now, wanting to take up more video courses on ancient wisdom for today's well-being. The next video course is a simple outline on the background of the ancient wisdom, Yellow Emperor's Inner Classic. Presently, these are the video courses on Yellow Emperor's Inner Classic available at Udemy Learning Platform. Food therapy for the unique you with your own body constituent. Meridians, qi exercises, and other self-help healing methods. Organs functionality, what Western medicine does not know. 5-element theory, build relationship of parts for holism. Qi, its mystery unfolded. 5 essential human life variables. Philosophy, yin-yang theory, and application. Simplicity and practicality of ancient wisdom on health. Health from head to toe, breast and breast cancer. Health from head to toe, brain, Parkinson, dementia, stroke. A single window to personality, emotion, physiology. Autism, from understanding to solution action. You can find the links to these video courses at my blog www.360q.com.